Hello. Welcome to anyone who's watching. My name's Isabel, and I'm one of the producers of The Uncertain Kingdom. We are here to talk about one of the films in our anthology of 20 films called Ernie. Ernie tells the story of a lonely school caretaker looking for connection whilst under the influence of right-wing propaganda and a domineering father. I'm joined by writer-director Ray Panthaki. Hi, Ray.
Hi, guys.
By producer Ben Jacques.
Bonjour.
And by actor Paul Kaye.
Hello.
Thank you for joining me here tonight. Ray, could you can you go into a bit of the background of this sort of incredibly powerful and prescient film?
Yes, certainly. Well, I guess the character was something I'd had in my head. I wanted to create a character that was on the fringes of society. They're characters I like exploring. And I'd had him in mind for a long time, and I was deliberating with this character sort of for a feature idea. And when this opportunity arose, I was kind of looking back through the things and the stories that I have in my heart that I want to tell. And this just kept coming back to me. This character just kept coming back to me. And it was all based on my heart, I guess, for the weaker and meek people in society. And I always feel moved and touched and want to help people like that. People that are sort of, I guess, in a way, can't keep up with the speed of life. You know, we're moving with our attitudes and opinions, and even technology is moving at such a speed. And I wanted to explore a story about someone that couldn't keep up with that, couldn't keep up with how we are as a society, and to sort of touch on that. And when this opportunity arose, I thought it was the perfect chance to develop him further and see if we could put him into this short story.
And Ben, you and Ray have known each other for quite a while, right?
Yeah. So we made our first film together 2012, wasn't it? So I'm trying to remember. It was Convenience, then Life Sentence, wasn't it? It was that way around, in my memory. So we made a little indie flick called Convenience. Mutual friend who's also a co-writer on this, a gentleman called Simon Fantuzzo, introduced us after I worked with Simon on a job. We hit it off, and we just looked to try and do something together, and this opportunity came along, and we went through probably a lot of hell on Convenience, you know, doing ridiculous 19-hour days, and I mean that's a whole different podcast to talk about that film. But yeah, and then Ray sort of talked to me about another sort of powerful short film called Life Sentence, which is about knife crime and about personal loss as well. And we put that together, and then this sort of arose again. So Ray contacted me, so something's come up, and we'd love to try and do this, you know, with you. And yeah, we sat together and figured out how to do it, and here we are.
Ben's a genius. Ben's a master at first of all putting up with me and my perfectionism. But
I mean, I'm not a master at that. No one is.
But secondly, he can make things happen, you know, when budgets and time is tight. And he did. I mean, he really comes into the trenches with you, and I've never forgotten that. I mean, we were in the trenches together.
I can never get out of these trenches, man.
Yeah, you're never gonna get out, my friend. And so, you know, we make a feature film, Convenience, which I produced and acted in, and we made that whole film for £80,000.
Wow. So,
and then my short we made for like $8,000 or something. The first short I directed. And then this came along, and I was like, Ben's the only person that knows how to do it and knows how to do it well. And so, yeah.
And that was like eight years later. Yeah. Well, I mean, like we'd had a bunch of movies in a short period of time, and then there was a gap, and we'd obviously kept in contact. Ray came to my wedding and all sorts. We're good mates. And then just this, and it just taken him in a different direction with regards to acting and looking to direct something again. And this came along, and he always said he wanted to get back into directing and tell the stories he wanted to make. And it just so happened to be a little bit further down the line. So luckily I had a bit more experience. So I was like, oh, good. It's time to call him all the favors. Come on, Ray, let's go and make this movie.
And I mean, you guys, I mean, the film looks so fantastic, and the quality is so high. But you guys, there were quite a lot of challenges along the way, which you managed to overcome.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest one, I'll probably let Ray talk about it, but we prepped this movie twice and shot it the one time, since we were originally going to shoot in the summertime of 2019, and then I'll let Ray take over that particular reason why we didn't.
Oh yeah, so I had a loss in the family, and it sort of came just the worst time. I think we were 2 days from from shooting, I think.
That's right.
And,
yeah, we
You
done
were
everything.
prepped, weren't you?
All the people, we'd
Yeah.
literally got all the crew together, and we were just locking down the final locations, and and then it all kind of stopped.
Sort of had to make a tough decision. It just didn't feel right. I didn't feel in the right frame of mind. I didn't feel I'd be able to do the best job possible. And I had to really balance it and make a tough decision. It was a really tough decision. I mean,
Absolutely.
I changed my mind various times, but I had to do what was best for the film, and so we pulled it. And then the other problem was trying to deliver it in time, because I post the first shoot cancelling, I had to then almost immediately after go off to Vancouver for 8 months for an acting job. And we had to then find time for me to fly back and shoot this as quick as we could, and then
like
get
a week.
back out. Yeah. I mean, you can.
Yeah, no, I remember you guys saying, yeah, he's definitely going to be back for those like 4 days, like definitely. And I was like, have they actually given that on paper? Is that written down?
That's
You're like,
fine.
yeah.
But what I didn't take into account was like jet lag and time differences and all these things that were going to factor in when I arrived back, and then have to go straight into a shoot. I mean, it was insane.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
But
luckily, we were saved by Paul, because Paul was the star of this, and without Paul, I don't think we'd be sitting here now. It was like.
Well, I was going to say, so the change in shoot dates actually meant that then Paul came on board. Paul, your depiction of Ernie is so haunting, and it sort of really gets under the skin. You feel for this man so much. What was your first take when you read the script?
Well, I kind of fell in love with the character, and I met Ray very soon after, didn't we? We met quite quickly.
Yeah.
And it was something that I just felt, even though it had the loose-ish parameters of Brexit, it just felt like it was dealing with so many issues in such a sort of concise way. Mm-hmm. For a short film, I just thought, because I think with short films you don't need to necessarily give answers. You can just ask a lot of questions, and I think it felt like it was the richest few pages, with dealing with mental illness, with racism, with bigotry, with home caring, with deprivation. It just had so many elements, and nothing was sort of rammed down your throat. It just sort of existed. It just felt like it was, when you walk up a street, you just don't know what's going on behind the closed door.
Yeah.
And it just sort of introduced a world so concisely, I thought. And I also like the fact that there were very few words in it. And in my mind, I always thought of it as a bit of a silent movie.
Yeah.
And Ernie is a kind of like almost like a silent movie character, because his defense was silence, And
then Steve Berkoff, you guys had the most incredible dynamic going on there. Was there a lot of were there lots of rehearsals? I can't remember.
No, he was amazing. I mean, someone, as an actor, I always wanted to work with him. He's and he's still got this aura, and when he ignites, you just have to enjoy it. I mean, he's got a rhythm to how most of it was improvised, right? And nothing was never
that
did the
stuff,
same
yeah.
thing twice, and it was almost he had his own rhythm, you know, and it was just amazing to witness and to be that close and to be that intimidated and sort of affected. I don't think he's lost anything of his kind of you know,
Fire,
life force and fire. Yeah, he's explosive. He felt explosive. I mean, I remember when I first saw him come into where we had a base in a pavilion, and I hadn't seen him on the TV or the screen for some time, and you know, I thought, gosh, he's got quite old, you know. But then as soon as you engage with him, that fire is just
terrifying.
It's still in there, and he's got this appetite and this energy and this, you know, charisma, which is, you know, bowls you over.
I think it probably helped that it certainly for Stephen, and I'm sure, you know, Ray and Paul had, you know, adhered to this as well, giving him the chance to do a lot of improv. It's like, you know, red rag to a bull, as it were. You know, he's just like, he wants to eat that stuff up. You know, he's a huge stage presence. You know, he loves his theatre still, and obviously he's well known for both stage and film. But to get that opportunity to, you know, certainly from Ray, and to play with Paul, to just go a little bit nuts, you know, try different things, and the amount of stuff that's not in the movie could make its own movie. You know, that's the fun stuff of Stephen.
Yeah.
But I think, Paul, to your point about it being a very Ernie's character being such a quiet character, Ray, in a way that the whole film is a very quiet but incredibly powerful film, and I think you do very well at sort of holding back where somebody else might have just forced it down people's throats quite a lot. But also the set design and the art direction, the locations, the music, it's all those collaborations seem to have, well, they have brought so much to it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I always wanted it to be a quiet movie. You know, classic cases. I really wanted Ernie to earn everything he said, and to just show as much as we can with the face and not tell it. You know, let the audience come to the conclusions of what is in Ernie's mind. And yeah, we collaborated with amazing people on this. I'm so grateful that people sort of, you don't come onto these jobs for money, right? So people have to really buy into your vision and your energy for it. And like, I still just so can't believe the people that we got involved. And I'm just want to say this is a nice opportunity to say thank you to all of them, really, because they are actually the true heroes, because they come into the trenches with you and believe in what you're trying to say as an artist and a filmmaker. And yeah, I mean, I did just name check a few. David Fuchs of DOP is just incredible, and Charlie, art director, I mean, just nailed everything that I asked of these guys. And that hair, makeup, Alison Beck, yeah, everyone was just incredible. So yeah, so we you know.
Can I just say you were pretty incredible as well?
Oh, thank you, Paul.
Your energy, I mean, Ray's energy. I mean, when we had met years and years ago, right? But
yeah, we did a gig together, yeah.
But Ray's passion and his, you know, it's that's what you work. That's what you live for, those sort of jobs. You know, I mean, it wasn't guerrilla filmmaking in that we did have locations, but you don't have time to think, really. You've just got to keep going forward, because time is you're always under pressure.
It's always up against you, you know.
And it was the passion with which Ray, you know, wanted to do what he brought to this, and on a daily basis when he was directing and he was setting stuff up, it came from a very deep place, and he was we all kind of just got involved in that little tornado, you know.
Because the shoot was just 3.5 days, right?
Yeah, that's whenever you say that haunts me, because it was 3.5 days of absolute hell. Yeah, it was. I mean, I'll never forget this in my whole life, but that last day of shooting in the school. So we had 3.5 days because Paul was like in between, I don't know, like 5 different acting gigs or something. So we literally had 3.5 days with Paul. And then the last day,
yeah, I'll take the blame. But it's like, but there's no sitting around. Like a lot of jobs, you're sitting around all the time. It takes so long to. But actually, with this, you're just ploughing forward constantly. And as soon as you've got a shot, you're jumping into a car and going up to Cricklewood and trying to get that. It was great. I mean, it's such an adrenaline thing, you know.
So we always knew that we'd need to shoot in the school for at least 2 days, like at least 2 days. But we had 1 day. And and so we knew we were up against it, and I had such ideas for our opening shot, which I have to talk about because we didn't get my opening shot because we actually rigged it. We built my opening shot of the movie was we built this bucket that Paul's character uses as a janitor at the school, as a caretaker, and we built it with glass underneath because I had this idea that just would not leave me, that the opening shot of the movie was to be shot through the bucket, through the water, and so we see Paul distorted through the bucket shot. And then when he comes in and he finally puts the mop into the water, he sort of crushes his own face in it. And you know, I don't want to spoil the movie for anyone, but it's sort of, you know, I better stop there actually. But so we had this opening shot, and we'd rigged it. Charlie had built this thing. David was ready to shoot it. We'd worked it all out, and then we got to the school on the day, and we realised we were so up against it, and it got to the point where Ben had to literally pull me aside and go, right, serious chat. We need to know what's going to make the movie now, because we have to get this scene, and we can only do all of this in one shot. So I had to lose my bucket shot.
Have you given it yet?
One day I will do that bucket shot, and I will do another cut of the movie and add it in. I have to get it off. I have to get it out of me, like my head.
Oh dear. Yes, there was.
Ben, you should talk about the school stuff because it was insane.
What is there to say? I mean, it was exactly what Ray said. You know, we realized we had 2 days, and we didn't have 2 days. We had 1 day. So, you know, we ended up the classic thing where you're trying to shoot essentially the beginning and the end of the movie. You know, like it's a bunch of different things that take place all over the school. And again, not trying to spoil it, but a bunch of stuff happens that, you know, you can't control some of the aspects of, shall we say. And that was pretty frustrating because we did a bunch of different takes with this particular element, and just wasn't working. And we're like, okay, this is more time that we're losing. So that went on for a little while, and eventually we kind of like, okay, yeah, serious chat. What do we need to make sure the film works? Like, you know, and we got it down to the absolute bare minimum of what we needed, and we just shot the death out of it. You know, we didn't stop. We just kept shooting. And I want a little special thanks to all the lighting boys as well, Alex and Ultralight. They went over and they were prepping everything. We turned up, ready to roll, do it, next one, go there. And they, on that day, they were absolutely on fire. And all of them were just like, you know, I'm sure this is a relatively well-known fact in the film industry and TV industry. Sparks can be quite difficult sometimes if you're edging towards the end of the day. Every single one of them just laid it on the line. It's like, no, we're getting it done. And they didn't care. And I was like, yeah, a lot of love for those guys. And yeah, we did. We got everything we needed right down to the very, very last shot, which is it was well beyond the wrap of the day. But Dave is like, come on, let's go. And you know, Ray and Paul, and we all just bundled into the school hall and shot this very last little shot, and it makes the movie. So, it doesn't make the movie; it's in the movie, I should say. And yeah, I'm glad we got it because it's a crucial little thing and a crucial little character piece, you know, for Ernie. So it was all worth it. It was all worth the pain and the suffering.
Ray, so I mean, I think what are your sort of hopes for when people sort of watch the film? What do you hope that their takeaways are from it?
Gosh. Well, I hope they learn from it. I mean, this is the reason we made this film, is that it might in that short space of time that it might, you know, make people think, might make people be aware, more aware of people in their world, or not even in their world, who might be like Ernie. And I think it touches on a few, you know, social issues as well, which I think people can take something from or be moved by. And just, I always hope that films make people think and they learn stuff.
It's like Paul said earlier, I think, you know, it was there's a lot of stuff to take away within there, and it's all there, you know, not by chance, still there because it was written. And I think everyone can take something away from Ernie different, but all of it is important. You know, and that's the number one thing. As long as you do take something away from it, I think you'll come out the other end a better person. That's the idea anyway.
Yeah. And so Ray, this is directing. Directing is obviously in your blood, and you've got the bug.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, definitely.
It'll be another 8 years to a movie.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess the good thing is that my acting career is sort of my bread and butter, and that I just do, and then the directing, I can really be a lot more precious about it, and I take time and really tell stories that I want to tell. But I've definitely got the bug. I feel it's funny because people will say to me, like, what do you prefer, acting or directing? And both equally. I feel like I've got so much to say in both those areas. But if I have to answer what probably comes more naturally to me, it's funny, it's possibly directing, because I remember stepping on set for the first time as a director on Life Sentence. And again, we didn't have no money or time to really shoot what we wanted to. But I stepped on set as a director that day, and the first thing I realized was, oh my gosh, I'm not worrying about how I look or remembering my lines or all those insecurities that come with being an actor. And I wasn't concerned with that. And also the fact that I was in control of the whole jigsaw, not just one piece of it. And I stepped on set, and it really was like that light, like that. This is a calling. I need to do this. This is what I need to do as part of my career. I need to tell stories that are important. And I'm working on various things at the moment. And what's great is that I can take the time to really focus on stories I want to tell.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, I look forward to seeing more films. Guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Anything you want to sort of say as a last sign off?
I'm going to say something quickly, and then I'm going to shut up because I've talked a lot. But I just want to say a few thank yous. I want to say thank you to Simon Fantuzzo, my co-writer, who's just incredible. To everyone that helped and worked on this. Like, I am so grateful for everything that everyone gave us.
Liv, our editor, special shout out to Liv.
Liv. Also the school and the school kids that helped us out on those scenes. They were incredible, brilliant, and like just gave us everything.
Bros Primary School, was it? What was the name of the school? It doesn't matter. They're like, they're credited, but they were amazing.
Yeah.
Every single one.
Yeah, Richard Fearon at Black Kite.
Pinewood Sound. Yeah, I mean, we were one of the last people to actually work out of Pinewood before they shut their sound division, and they were, again, went above and beyond the Call of Duty on site. Helped us as well. So many people. There was the camera team, Canning 24. Oh man, Panavision. Well, Panalux. And just everyone was great.
And thank you, Paul, because you're amazing.
I think he's frozen. He's frozen with amazing.
Yeah, frozen.
Oh, he's gone. He's back.
Thank you, Paul, because you're
thank
amazing.
you, Ray. Thank you. I love being part of it.
Paul, Stephen, Ossian, who's incredible in it as well. All of the main cast were incredible, and just actually a little shout out to Hester as well, because she came and saved the day when we were shooting up in Cricklewood. So I want to give a little shout out to Hester. Literally, she hadn't turned up, we couldn't have done the scene. So
that's right. Yeah.
And without that, that's literally going to be our poster, like the shot of Paul in that scene. So
such a great
we'd lost that. We'd lost a few. Yeah, it's not a bad poster, right? Yeah. So yeah.
Well, thanks again. And for anyone that is available tomorrow night, the BFI is hosting a Q&A with a handful of the filmmakers from Volume 2 of The Uncertain Kingdom. That is Jason Wingard, Stro McCanns, Jason Bradbury, and producer Amy Binns. All of that information is on the BFI socials. So yeah, do tune in if you're free. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the rest of your night.
A special thank you to
you.
Mel, our co-producer, as well. I've got Mel. She's going to kill me if I do.
And Mel.
Oh, yeah, Mel. Thank you, Mel.
Thanks, Mel.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.